It's Cream, aka Ms. Cream of the Crop, and I'm back with another video. This time I decided to do a voiceover. Um, I just wasn't camera ready. And it's early in the morning, and I didn't want to um not put this content out because if you wait too late, then a day goes by, then a week goes by, and a month goes by, and it's over with. So anyway, let's hop right into it because I have a lot to say on this topic. So right now, all the talk is Nicki Minaj versus Megan the Stallion. So let's just start at the top. Some of you weren't around or aren't aware of the battle or beef era of hip hop, and it shows. Like, you don't have to be quote unquote old or older or anything to know and understand your culture or the culture. Like, just like we know Aretha Franklin and a lot of other greats and legendary artists that came out before we were born, we know that they exist. So if you're going to partake in any discussions, I think that we should be more informed than what we are when we're hopping online and giving our opinions in regards to things, especially when it comes to our culture. I'm just really disappointed um on in us um as a community and how uninformed or misinformed we are about our own culture. So so a lot of you all online mumbling and cackling in my Nicki Minaj voice and all in your feelings about an industry that you really have zero knowledge of. And that's also slightly baffling to me as well, is how many people have an opinion about a job that they don't do and haven't done any research on. And if you don't know, hip hop used to be Sparta. Like, you had to battle the top person to even be considered um as someone who a producer or a studio owner would even let you come in and record, before a producer would even give you beats, before you could be the man or the woman in high school. Like, you had to battle first to get that title in your neighborhood, on your street. And that is not the case now. That's not the case. But we, going back to the culture and us really just not being um as aware or informed about our own culture uh, as we should be. We get upset once we find out a hip hop or rap or black culture blog or streaming site is not black owned. We really get upset when it's not black owned, but we we do it to ourselves, if you ask me. They study us and sometimes know more about our culture than some of you, and that's really, really sad. We get upset when their platform and their media personalities get the interviews, but do we actually support our platforms without tea? Like, do we support black creatives who aren't on throw drinks, beat 'em up reality shows? Like, would you watch an interview that isn't controversial? Like, really, really ponder these questions that I'm asking you. Like, would you? Like, artists used to take pride in being a lyricist and upholding the culture. Even the women had to spar their way through and show these men that they can spit better than them. And it's not about, oh, you got to show me. No, it's not about that. And we have to stop doing that too. Like, we don't need to show a man that we're better. It's not about that. It's just that is and was the culture of hip hop, and a mini way of gatekeeping the culture so they can remain pure in what it was supposed to be and what it is supposed to be. And now it's just a wide open lane that people are utilizing to make money off of our culture. Like, we're one of the few communities that everybody gets a chance to make money off of. You can't just walk into some other cultures and be like, yep, yeah, let me just make millions. And you can get a percentage of it that may not even be a living wage. I don't think that that's something, I haven't seen it happen. I haven't seen it happen at all. But even Queen Latifah, MC Light, Roxanne Shante, and more, they let it be known, okay? They let it be known that they can spit. They let it be known that they had talent. They let it be known that you weren't going to touch them. You weren't going to see them lyrically. Lauryn Hill was a force, and the only woman in her crew. Little Kim, the only woman in her crew. And we know the impact that Lil Kim had on the industry. Nicki Minaj, the only rapper in Cash Money at that time, the only woman rapper, I should say, the only female rapper at the time in Cash Money. Foxy Brown came in the game at like 14, 15 years old on LL Cool J's track and held it down amongst industry vets. Vets that were probably twice her age at that time. If not, they were at least double her age, which is twice for people that don't know what twice her age means. But at the end of the day, all of these women held it down lyrically. Now I know there was some debate like, oh, you guys have something to say about Sexy Red. You had Lil Kim and Foxy Brown. Like listen, lyrically, no disrespect, because I respect women being able to be themselves. But lyrically, Sexy Red cannot touch Foxy Brown or Lil Kim. It was something to show your lyricism in early hip hop. It was something to show your lyricism. It was bragging rights to get mics in the source. It's like, how many mics did your album get? And it was fighting words. If your album review or single review did not get the number of mics that you thought that it should, if your neighborhood or your supporters didn't think that your album or your single didn't get the number of mics that you thought that it should, being on the cover of Vibe magazine, are you serious? That was major. That was major. And that's something that I feel like we need to bring back. We had the Source, we had Double XL, we had the Vibe. We had major media outlets that were imperative and played an imperative part, I should say, in our culture. And I feel like when a lot of that went away, a lot of the pride and a lot of pieces in our culture left with it. So there are a lot of people now that aren't aware of how fulfilled we were with our culture. And now it's just this wide open lane of whatever the what. So, I mean, yes, the game has changed, but it's been heavily influenced and affected by the fact that fans and supporters don't expect much. They really don't expect much out of artists. And I say that kind of loosely because it's also weird that fans expect a lot out of women artists and not that much out of anyone else. And before it was about lyricism, and now, everyone is like, you give them a bop, a squat, a lace front, and an outfit, and they love it. And they love it. So if you ask me, I feel like Nicki Minaj and Meg are just ready to show the girls how rappers battle. Rappers who write battle. Because most of these girls came with the tired, you're old, you're an auntie lines. And that was like a yawn, that was like a snooze fest. That really wasn't going to get them anything but embarrassed. And the reason why I say that is because when I say embarrassed, it's like you already presented your bars to a lyricist and you already proved that you were unworthy opponents. Like, did you think that calling someone older, calling someone an auntie was going to get your response? Like, that's not going to wake up the bear, the hibernating bear in the wintertime. That's like Kobe Bryant playing a pickup game against an unworthy opponent. That's a waste of his time. He's just not going to do it. He's not going to do it. And that's not a diss or Anything negative against anyone else is just, if you are going to wake up the sleeping giant, then you need to wake up the sleeping giant. Okay? Like, you need to wake up the sleeping giant. That's like J. Cole actually battling Lil Pump. Like, why? Why? Some people get bars, some people get half a bar, and some people get crickets. That's just, it's just how it goes. And the artist's level of lyricism and their calculation of who's worthy of a response is up to them. But most of the time, they want a worthy opponent, because what's the point of proving that you won a battle if the person you were battling wasn't worth your time or on your level, in your opinion? Okay? Like, that's really what it is. Okay? That's really what it is. So when you come from an era where you actually love being an artist, and you respect the craft, and you really only respect and want to compete against a real opponent, and that makes the win feel better. Like when Snoop was crushing buildings and Jay-Z was putting people on Summer Jam screens, Nas was spitting ether, LL was giving ninjas time bombs, and rappers were saying names live on air. Like, they were going to the radio station, calling other rappers out live on air. Like, when BET hip hop ciphers were actually ciphers. But I don't know if cancel culture, or AKA participation trophy culture, could have handled all of that. And I'm sure that's why, other than the outlets not being here like they were before, but I'm pretty sure that's why some of that stuff went away. But Nicki and Meg can really rap, and at some point this was bound to happen. Like, iron sharpens iron. I'll say that again. Iron sharpens iron. And it goes back to what I just said. You have to be the best to beat the best, but you also have to be the best for the best to want to be interested in battling you. Like, it only makes sense. So you all see it as like, oh, Nicki is such a mean girl, blah, 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 when she posted that long tweet, and you read it as someone in their feelings. When that when she put out that mini snippet and said, hop up on your good foot, y'all heard it as someone in your feelings. So let's go back and let's go back to that little snippet. Nicki complimented Meg first, then baited her with the good foot. Meg didn't say anything about Nicki, but she knew what to say to get a response. Okay, she didn't call her old. She didn't call her auntie. First of all, Nicki Minaj isn't old. Let's just put it out there. She's not old, but she didn't say anything that everyone else was saying. She knew exactly how to bait Nicki into a response. They both knew what to say to each other. Okay? So that's why I said Meg and Nicki are ready to show the girls how rappers battle, how rappers who write battle. So getting back to Nicki Sweet, like, she basically told you to support Meg. She gave you the numbers and said, here's the proof that you all don't support like you should be. Here are the numbers. Here are the receipts. Here are the receipts to show how much you are not supporting Meg Thee Stallion. But y'all saw it as, oh my God, she's being so mean. Oh my God, that just proves that she's been watching her this whole time. And now she's being mean by pointing out that her stuff isn't charting. No, she's talking to you, the people who keep all this up online. Because if you all didn't care about the minute things, the blogs wouldn't care either. So she's saying, look, fans, supporters, look how much you're not supporting Meg. Look, this is for you all. This is not for Meg. This is for you all. Look how much you're not supporting her like you should be. Like, I actually think that Nicki wants all the girls to realize their worth and be greater than what the industry is making them be. Like, she's like, You got this. Let me show you all the things that I had to go through let me show you all the ways I had to run so you guys could walk. But now that you're walking, make them respect you. Make them respect you. Show them who you are, not who they want you to be. And if who you are is, if this is what you're putting out there is actually who you are and what you want to be, fine, dandy. I mean, at the end of the day, no one can deny, not even Nicki Minaj. Like I know that Nicki knows that Megan is talented. And I feel like Nicki feels like Megan deserves more than a WAP part 1 and 2 every couple of years. And we all know, RIP to Meg's mom, but Meg's mom was her backbone in this industry. She helped shape who she is. Her mom is part of the reason that she even decided to pick up the pen because her mom was talented. And right now, I'm not really sure if Meg has that. And I'm sure that's something that she misses and needs and wants. And I don't know if there's somebody out there that's giving her, and no one can feel that at all. That was her mom. As someone who has lost a parent, I do not condone bringing up, speaking on anyone's deceased parent. That is something that I don't condone. I don't play with that at all. Um, I don't support domestic violence. So I don't know any of the backstory when it comes to Meg and her truth or her untruths at all. I'm speaking on music, music only, beef and battles. That is it. And you'll have to understand that when it comes to battling, people are going to say things. Like, people are going to say things. If you go back to what I mentioned, the Summer Jam screen, things that Nas said to Jay-Z on Ether, things that Jay-Z said in his response to Nas, like Snoop coming through and crushing the New York buildings. Listen, things have been said and now people are doing business deals together. Okay? That's just how it goes. Rap and hip hop and battle rap is not always kumbaya. It's not always let's all get participation trophies. It's not always that. And you guys have to understand that. Like, get your feelings out of this. Get your feelings out of this and understand, like, what this really is. It's not that. So you all think Nicki hates or doesn't want competition, but I really think Nicki doesn't want to leave the game in the hands of women who aren't prepared to carry it the way that it should be carried. I'll say that again. You all think that Nicki hates competition or doesn't want competition. I think Nicki wants competition because I think Nicki's bored right now. Like a lot of artists that can spit are bored. I don't think that she dislikes competition. And I also think that it's the opposite of how you all are seeing it. Like, I really think that Nicki just doesn't want to leave the game in the hands of women who aren't prepared to carry it in the way that it should be carried. And if they will really just pay attention and listen to some of the ways in which she tries to help them and just really take the feelings out of it and get the game part of it, they could do more than all of the things that are being bought and handed to them because they deserve to earn them with their talents. And that's, I feel, all that she's saying. But I'm here for it. I want to see Meg pull out all that she can pull out of herself because she can do it. And it's gonna take a Nicki Minaj to pull that out of her. And I'm excited to see Roman make another appearance. So let's sit back and watch and see how this goes. But I feel like y'all got to get out your feelings and understand the game. This is Cream, aka Ms. Cream of the Crop. Have an amazing day.